Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching World Today. I'm reporting from a city of Florence. This is the city of Lucca and I'm at the Tower of Bernigi. Not the Trump Tower, but the focus certainly is going to be President Trump's first month in office for the second time. Top of the list has been his aggressive tariff policy as an economic tool that has sparked debate at home and abroad. Here is a report.
The American President Donald Trump's favorite economic tool is the tariff. Tariffs are a tax on imports, products brought into the United States from outside. The US President has made reshaping the country's trade policy a centerpiece of his early administration. He has introduced tariffs on goods from key trading partners, including Canada, Mexico, China, India, and a host of other countries. In the past month, he has imposed 25% tariffs on goods entering the US from Canada and Mexico. Imposed increased tariffs on goods from China by 10% and 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports from other countries. On 13th February, the US President Trump announced the imposition of reciprocal tariffs on imports from various countries, including India.
On trade, I have decided, for purposes of fairness, that I will charge a reciprocal tariff, meaning whatever countries charge the United States of America, we will charge them. No more, no less. In other words, they charge us a tax or tariff, and we charge them the exact same tax or tariff. Very simple.
President Trump defends these tariffs as essential for protecting American industries, stimulating economic growth and generating revenue. He even warned his people that there could be adverse repercussions in the beginning.
We may have short-term some little pain, and people understand that, but long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We have deficits with almost every country. Not every country, but almost. And we're going to change it. It's been unfair. That's why we owe $36 trillion. We have deficits with everybody. We help everybody. We've been helping everybody for years. And to be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that.
And so did he. His administration believes tariffs can strengthen the U.S. economy and lead to reshoring of manufacturing. They highlight the potential for job creation and wage increases in sectors like steel and aluminum.
We were being pummeled by both friend and foe alike. Our nation requires steel and aluminum to be made in America, not in foreign lands. We need to create, in order to protect our country's future, a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing and production, the likes of which has not been seen for many decades. So essentially, we're putting on a 25% tariff without exception on all aluminum and all steel. And it's going to mean a lot of businesses are going to be opening in the United States, and America is going to be stronger than it ever was before.
U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies have faced strong criticism. Economic studies from his first term suggest that the economic burden of tariffs is ultimately borne by U.S. consumers through higher prices. There are also concerns about retaliatory tariffs from other countries, potentially escalating trade wars.
So this will send shockwaves through the world economy, and that's before you price in the fact that other countries will feel the need to retaliate. The tariffs on foreign goods will be a tax on our consumers. When they retaliate, they'll be hurting themselves, but also hurting U.S. exporters.
Thank you very much for being here.
The coming months will be crucial in determining the long-term effects of President Trump's tariff policies on the U.S. and global economies. Bureau Report, India Today.
President Trump is keeping his promise, his electoral promise of a massive crackdown on illegal immigrants. He's been cracking down on illegal immigrants and sending them back to their respective countries, India being one of them. There have been a few batches that have already reached India, and this is just the beginning of his 4-year term.
Handcuffed and shackled, illegal Indian immigrants were deported from the USA in 3 batches in the past 1 month. The first batch of 104 arrived in India on 5th February. Their deportation caused a furor in the Indian parliament. A week later, the Indian Prime Minister met the US President Donald Trump, and in Washington, D.C., he agreed to take in all verified illegal Indian immigrants.
हम इस मत के हैं कि गैर कानूनी तरीके से जो लोग दूसरे देशों में होते हैं उनको वहां रहने का कोई कानूनी अधिकार तो है नहीं। जहां तक भारत और अमेरिका का सवाल है, हमने हमेशा कहा है कि जो वेरीफाइड होगा, कि जो सच्चे अर्थ में भारत का ही नागरिक होगा, वो अगर अमेरिका में गैर कानूनी तरीके से रहता है तो उसको वापस लेने के लिए भारत तैयार है।
A week later, 119 Indian immigrants were deported on 15th February, and another batch of 112 arrived in India the very next day. Right after the US president assumed Oval Office, he started a crackdown on illegal immigrants.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of.
The very next day, a US Air Force plane repatriated 80 Guatemalan nationals. Some families asked their local priest to take guardianship of their children as fears of deportation among migrants in the US loomed large. US Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, arrests increased across the country with about 900 to 1,200 people picked up per day. A daily average of arrests by ICE in the fiscal year 2024 was 311 as per its own reports. Activists started protesting on streets against Donald Trump's immigration policy and ICE arrest. Some pushed back against what they call intimidation tactics by US President Donald Trump's administration, vowing to protect immigrant families.
And if we allow people to identify us or put us in categories of criminal or any other thing just by the way we look, then we're going back to a time that was very dangerous in this country, specifically for people that looked like me.
The Mexican National Guard started to conduct extensive patrols across the United States and Mexico border amid growing migration concerns.
I don't think it's necessary for migrants because migrants are poor people who are being displaced and don't come to commit crimes in Tijuana or the United States. The ones we should be going after are elsewhere, not at the border or in the shelters.
US flights kept sending immigrants back to different countries. President Trump also cracked down on birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to parents who are not citizens or lawful permanent residents, with an executive order signed on the very first day in office. Federal courts temporarily blocked the order, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. The US president is all prepared to fight out a legal battle to implement it nonetheless.
Mr. President, a U.S. judge temporarily blocks the birthright citizenship order. Do you have any reaction?
No, obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
Arrest and deportation of immigrants remained a top agenda, marking a continuity from his previous regime in the USA in the first month of his second term.
President Donald Trump this time around wants to be a man of peace. He's proposing peace talks and has engaged Russia, keeping Ukraine and the European countries out. He's proposed peace between Israel and Hamas, but also spoken about a Riviera and Gaza Strip without keeping the Gaza stakeholders in the conversation. With such proposals, can he really bring about peace, and at what cost?
A news conference between Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky and the US President Donald Trump's Ukraine envoy was cancelled at US request, revealed a Kyiv official on the day President Trump's second term completed a month in office. US President Donald Trump has stirred significant controversy by suggesting that Ukraine is responsible for the war with Russia.
He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh, no, his polls are good. Give me a break. Every city is being demolished. They look like a demolition site, every single one of them. And the only thing he was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. He played him like a fiddle. That's an expression we use, Yasser, to say that he's pretty easy, pretty easy. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast because that war is going in the wrong direction. In the meantime, we're successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia.
President Trump's assertions came right after the peace talk between US and Russian diplomats ended in Saudi Arabia, excluding Ukrainian representatives. This exclusion has frustrated Ukraine and Europe. They feel sidelined.
Я переконаний, для України, для нашого регіону і для Європи принципово, щоб будь-які перемовини щодо закінчення війни відбувались не за спиною у ключових суб'єктів, яких зачіпають наслідки російської агресії.
The American president hit back hard at the Ukrainian president.
He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh, no, his polls are good. Give me a break.
Prompt came the reply from Kyiv.
Раз вже говоримо про 4%, ми бачили цю дезінформацію. Ми розуміємо, що вона йде від Росії. Ми розуміємо це, і у нас є докази, що ці цифри вони обговорюються між Америкою і Росією. Ну, тобто, на жаль, президент Трамп з великою повагою до нього відносимося як до лідера народу, який ми дуже поважаємо, американський народ, який нас постійно підтримує. На жаль, живе в цьому дезінформаційному просторі.
President Trump's comments have drawn sharp criticism from European leaders who went on a huddle in Paris the night before US and Russia were to talk peace in Riyadh. The war in Ukraine will mark its third anniversary on 24th February.
I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions of people have unnecessarily died. And you can't bring a war to an end if you don't talk to both sides. You got to talk. They haven't been talking for 3 years.
Not only Ukraine, US President Donald Trump is trying to bring peace in the Middle East as well.
Take a look at the death in the Middle East and the death that's taking place between Russia and Ukraine. It's been going on, and we're going to end it. There's no profit for anyone in having World War III, and you're not so far away from it. I'll tell you right now, you're not so far away. If we would have had this administration for another year, you would have been in World War III, and now it's not going to happen.
He has reiterated his plan to buy and own Gaza amid ongoing tensions in the region.
And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent.
He promised that the US would take responsibility for rebuilding Gaza and ensuring that Hamas does not regain power there.
The US will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings. President Clinton.
President Trump's first month in office has set the tone for a broader strategy of asserting U.S. influence in global conflicts while proposing controversial solutions that often provoke backlash from international leaders and allies. But will they stop the violence and give peace a chance? That will be decided in the next few years.
That's all in this edition of World Today. Keep watching India Today for all the latest news and updates. After a short break, we'll keep reporting out of Italy and many other parts of the world on what's happening in various parts of the world, particularly how that impacts India. Goodbye and take care.